Hi, I'm Cathy Thomas, and joining me today will be the executive chef co-owner of ARC at the OC Mix in Costa Mesa, Noah Blöm. And Noah is going to share the secrets of his scrumptious burgers. Chef, welcome. You think way outside the box when it comes to your burgers. Tell me about them.
We like to break down whole animals, and in breaking down those whole animals, we find some really great parts that are best utilized, hand chopped or hand ground, and put into a burger meat.
Show me.
So here we have a little piece of short rib, and we're gonna go ahead and just start hand chopping it as nice, thin we can. So we're looking for a nice even cut against the grain to kind of pull us up. Once we do that, I'm gonna turn it and chop it the other way.
Okay, what's next?
Next up, we're going to add in the lardons. When I get a big chunk of beautiful pork belly and we cure it out, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take off those little end pieces. We're gonna cut them into perfect little squares, and we're gonna let them just cook down briefly in their own fat. So with caramelized onions, I always like to cut my onions in nice long pieces, get the sugars to really caramelize beautifully. Then we're gonna get a little hand chop, because
You're just kind of gently tossing that, aren't you?
the goal is to not move it too much.
Right.
You wanna keep it really light and loose. For the home cook, this is a really important stage to add a little bit of seasoning into it and cook off a teeny little piece. Because if you're making burgers for the family, it's important to make sure they're seasoned correctly prior to putting them on the grill. I use a combination salt when I do it, a combination of Maldon sea salt and kosher salt. Kosher has a nice absorbance, but it has a little bit of a higher sodium content. The Maldon has a beautiful light flakiness to it, and it's just perfect. We have a little mortar and pestle fresh ground pepper. We're gonna add our chives into this as well. A little bit of chervil. So now we're gonna mix our beautiful burger up.
And again, kind of a gentle touch
Very,
there.
very light. So now the final stage, and really what makes our burger special, is the duck fat. So at this point, we form it into a small patty and really loose. And we're gonna set this in the refrigerator. And I always recommend 24 hours for setting, but a minimum of an hour.
Well, let's take one out of the fridge.
Perfect.
Okay.
Little duck fat, that's what we love.
And it goes right onto the coal.
Right onto the coals. The most heat we can get, the better. It's the best way to get a good char on the outside of our burgers, so you have that beautiful texture happening and soft, delicate on the inside. Absolutely unbelievable. Give this guy a little flip here. Woo, flame on.
Yes, sir.
Beautiful.
A little duck grease in the grill.
Oh, nothing says loving like a little duck fat on the grill.
What about the bread?
We're going to toast it by setting it off to the side. All right, let's put this thing together. We toasted our bed dry, so what we're gonna do right now is we're gonna season it out just slightly. Next up, we're gonna go with a garlic aioli that we made. Some shaved red onions. We're going to add 2 different colors of tomato on here so that they just look that beautiful. So these are Fresno chilies or red jalapenos, and we pickle them out ourselves. So we're gonna take some fresh red oak. This is a really light garlic vinaigrette. Whenever I dress anything, I dress the outside of my bowl and never the ingredient which I want to dress. The reason is I can always rub my lettuce around the outside of the bowl. I can never take the dressing off of the lettuce itself.
Great technique.
So we just want to...
Just spectacular.
Thank you so much.
And I can hardly wait to dig in.
Please.
Thank you for sharing.
It was our great pleasure to be here.
Here's a quick tip from Melissa's. Rapini has a distinctive flavor profile. We're gonna tame it with a little sweetness and a little spice. So in the skillet, I've got some beautifully caramelized onions. I'm gonna add a little bit of dried red pepper flakes and some chopped garlic and cook that off. And over here, I've got the rapini. And I'm gonna cut it into, about 1.5 inch lengths. And we're going to blanch it. Put a lid on this pot, comes to a rapid boil, in goes the rapini. About 3 minutes. Okay, I want this to come out when it's still bright green and a little limp. And that was in salted water, by the way. And in goes the drained rapini. And we'll give it a good toss. I'm gonna give it a little taste. See if it needs salt. A little bit. Okay. Now rapini also benefits from something starchy, whether it's pasta or rice, and I really like it on this wild rice blend. I gotta tell you, this is rapini at its best.